Hey guys, I am back again with some new, hold on, new playing around. Still working with these, playing around with these tribal texture rollers. So these are the tiny double tall. They're very small detail, which is great for little beads and such and little things. And then I've got them also sitting here in small. So those aren't out yet. Yeah, this is all stuff that's coming. Another butterfly pattern, another leaves pattern. These are really cool. They've got little butterflies in them and stuff, but I think I'm gonna have to switch them to that one is out. Joyful Spring. Um and that's just the vines without major flowers. It's just got little flowers on it. And then this one's I love the way these flowers showed up. There they go. Those are really pretty. So I might actually try to do a pattern that's just that flower shape because it's pretty. But anyway, that's irrelevant to what we're doing today. We're here. This is where we're playing. Stop getting distracted. So that's the embossing version and debossing. So far, I've only played with the debossing and probably going to stay there. But yeah, so we might use the small, and then I've got a extra large, and I have played with these a bit too. So I think this, yeah, this was using the extra large. So, oh wait, that was the tester. I made the patterning bigger so you can see rather than having 6 lines of pattern, I dropped it to 4 and expanded them so they go in better. So yeah, that's testers. That doesn't count. These were correct though. And the small ones are correct. But yeah, so that's I was playing with that. So that's that. I think this was also, but it got compressed a bit when I wrapped it and squished it and shaped it. These are also out of that. So these came out kind of neat. I think I like these a lot with that point. What else in here? So yeah, all these big ones those were all that. Yeah, I love just the organic feel to these beads. They come out so pretty. This I think was a small one. It was a different patterning. Actually, the picture on the cover, um, that was this. Sorry. But yeah, so that I think was the extra large actually, but just a scrap piece that was smaller on the end. Don't remember what did these guys. Probably the small, maybe the extra large. Those came out really pretty. And I left a bit of texture in them, so I didn't roll them out very far. So they've actually got a little bit of depth map still to them too, which is really pretty. And there's a lot of metallic in there, so if I clear coat these, they will gloss up really nicely. But yeah, so that is what I was playing with. I love this new color. But yeah, so that's those. Here it is with like a blue scheme. So that's this color scheme I've got sitting over here. So we might roll something out in that. We'll see what we end up doing. I like the way that one came out a lot. It's just a piece of shaving that I put over a solid color. I like the way that turned out. And then these are Tribal Maze. It's not in that collection, but it's in a different collection with tribal stripes and what else? Oh, my Flower of Life ones. Oh, I forget to use those. I really should bring those in. This is a good color palette. I like that. And then back to the bunch of beads that we made that were all just textured. Try and see if I have any more of those floating around, but these are definitely out of that batch. So when I was just playing with layering colors and I don't know what, and layering textures and putting more colors and putting more textures, that's what these are. And not you, you're tribal. I love that one. It's so cute. But yeah, so that's these guys. So they're just very stone-esque. And they came out really cool. So yeah, one of these days I need to just sit down and clear coat a bunch of stuff. And I got a bunch of little beads from that collection too. They're all buried in here. And so those make really nice spacers for between stuff. Actually, this has to be this collection. It was just leftover scraps. So I'll show you how I do that. Actually, I can show you right now because I have some sitting here. So this is what I did with the veneer that was on the On the intro photo, this is the original, how the veneer stayed on its by itself. I haven't figured out whether I'm going to make little beads or bigger beads or some sort of pendanty shapey into something. I haven't decided. And then this was the shavings, and I used the translucent to keep them collected, and then put them over just a tube of white, so it'll be kind of bone colored with the translucent in there. Make really pretty, well, make pretty beads too. So yeah, I like those. And then so I would make beads out of that, and then I would take something like this and oops, and then turn that into my little spacer beads. So cut that really little short bits, short, 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 short. And usually, I try, especially when I'm making round shapes, I try to roll my log as fat and then cut them almost square. So about like that. But anyway, yeah, so that's how I do that. And then this is scrap from the first version, which I didn't love the coloration as much. So did I have, yeah, that was the first things I showed you. That doesn't go over there. So this is basically, there it is. That's it. So it's got the colors we're going to do today that made it pretty was this. So it's like this kind of browny, purpley color, then that reddish purple, then that goldish color, and then the off-white. And I had that stacked on top of, so you can see that's that first set of stack. You can find all those colors in here. And then off-white, and then I put this tealy, it's actually green, I'll discuss the colors in a second. Put that greenish color, and then a goldish color, and then a silverish color. And they went a little muddier than I wanted. And I will explain why in a minute because there's a little bit of color theory in that. So we'll get into the colors where I used for that. And actually, we'll go ahead and discuss that. Now, I do have to keep it a little on the short side today. My niece is coming over and she's getting a drawing lesson. So it may be more of a show and tell and just a little quickie project. But yeah, so this is my newest set of colors. I spent most of yesterday just playing with colors, and this is where I landed. So let's see. Let's start with this color. This is rose gold, primo. Everything's primo. Rose gold mixed with black. Wouldn't have guessed it. Holy crap, it's a pretty color. Like, it's just such a nice neutral. Nice medium tone. It's not dark. It's not light. It's just a nice medium tone. So, all right, what else does rose gold go in? Goes in everything. This blue, peacock pearl, 50% rose gold. Cool. I like it. What else do we have? So yeah, that's this guy. And then I thought I mixed him with black, but I'm not seeing it sitting here. New, that. Oh, maybe it is. Okay, so this is that mixed with black. So then for some reason you add a little black and it just, it earthies it up. It makes it pretty. So this is without black. This is with black. So it's like 1-to-1 here. And this is probably +1 black. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, I think. When in doubt, add more rose gold. All right, so that's the teal version. And then I was playing with blue, and this is navy with rose gold, and it goes almost periwinkle. It's really, really, really pretty. Doesn't quite match the palettes I typically use, but there's a lot of colors in here that it actually will go with better than I would have guessed. So this is kind of my theory with color mixing and color playing, that's the same, is if you have a metallic tone that you mix into everything, or just another color that you just put a dash of it in everything you're mixing, or everything that you're trying to make go together, it just makes things go together better. This is mint green with, I got a little red in there. It's always going to be rose gold. So that's mint green with rose gold. It goes a little better with copper because it neutrals out even more. Because the mint, the green in it's so subtle, and then the pink in the rose gold is subtle. The copper is just a little more pinky orangey, so there's a little more tone in it. It neutralizes out better. This leaves it just a little in between, but it's still just a nice little neutral color to throw in the mix. And then what happens if you add black? That's a good neutral. I like it. It's different than this neutral. Grab a piece of that so it can come up. Different than this neutral, but it's a good neutral. Uh, this is green. This is forest green and peacock pearl. If you throw a little white in this, it'll tealy it up really pretty. It's already kind of tealy, but you can get it even more tealy. Very pretty color. What happens if you add black? Ooh, again, just turns it neutral. Softens it out a little, gives you just a good green color. So I might have to play with lightening this up somehow because I like it better than the brighter version. So anyway, another color. Oh, this. What happens when 18 karat gold and rose gold? That is a cool color. So this is like a new favorite. That's in today's project. Another color in today. No, this is not in today's project. Oh, now I forget what. Oh, not burnt sienna. Terracotta. Terracotta with just a touch of half and half. Might have actually been, no, it's half and half. Rose gold, terracotta. It richens up the rose gold. I have a packet of rose gold over here. Nope. There, I'll tuck it away. It richens up, it like deepens up the rose gold a little, and I mean they're almost the same color when you look at them side by side, but it does something nice if you do that. And then, oh, wait, what happens if you add black to that? It's a really good brown. Again, just neutrally warmish brown. Nice. I forget what this one is. Why do I forget what this one is? I think it's this when you add black. That's what this is. Yeah. Yep. That's you add black to this. So 18 karat gold, rose gold, black. It's probably a half black, one and a half. But yeah. So kind of antique gold, but kind of a little more neutral, not quite so blah in your face. So yeah. So technically those actually belong here. And then what were you? This is if you take this and mix it with my off-white color that I'm always making up. Actually, is it the off-white or I don't have any of that sitting here. Well, that's all the off-white. So this is white, pearl, a little more white than pearl, and a dash of ecru? Ecru. Dash of ecru. Somewhere else, I should have. Maybe I didn't make that mold. Oh, there it is. There it is. This is just pearl and ecru. So way more pearl than ecru, just a little dash, but more of a dash of ecru than my off-white. That's off-white. So no white, yes white, more ecru, less ecru. But they go together really nicely too. So you can use those together. Yeah. So, oh, the last color, actually there's a couple more. So then I was playing, always play with purple. 2 parts rose gold to purple. Makes a really nice mauve kind of color. I like it. Add a little black. I like that. Add a little more black. Very good contrast color. Very just dark berry, not overly obvious. Very pretty color. And it's extras. Now this, is this? No, this is my old plum purple that I make all the time. It's purple, black, and copper. Not copper, the darker one. Oh, what's that color called? Bronze. That's it, bronze. So similar, very similar color mix, color theory, just not quite. It doesn't brighten it up as much. So, popped open one. I think that has even more black in it. I was having fun shading that one out. There we go. So you can see how much richer this is. They probably have a similar amount of black. but this just gets you a little almost silvery. Like it's interesting. I'm loving what rose gold does. But anyway, so that's those colors messing around. And oh, and then the last one is this one. This is the one we're working with. So this is, I was like, okay, what happens if you put alizarin crimson in with rose gold? And it was too reddish, so I kept adding a little more. So it's probably 2 rose gold to 1 alizarin crimson, maybe 3, I don't remember. And then I was like, it's too red. It's too funky. I don't know. It's not going with the color palette. It's just not blending. So I had some of the forest green sitting there. And I'm like, throw a dollop of that in. It turned purple. So color theory, usually if you have something that's too much of one color or you want to just tone it down and make it less in your face, pick something from the opposite end of the color wheel. So the opposite side of red is usually greenish. So I had green sitting there. I'm like, what happens if? And I threw that in and it turned into a really pretty red. Now, once you thin it out, and because alizarin crimson is just such an overkill color, once you thin it out a little bit, you see more of the alizarin influence. It no longer has that purpley tone. But so where I failed is I then tried to use that as a purplish along with that tealy green that's made up of that same green that neutralized out my red. And that's why it just doesn't go together. I mean, they go together, but and also it's a little Christmas for my taste. I'm usually not a, yeah, it's just a little Christmas. So I don't even know if I'll end up making beads out of these. I might just smush them together and see what color it becomes. It'll probably be a very neutral nothing tone. They've got a lot of white in them too because they're rolled on a white log. Probably, actually, that might be all scrap. That is all scrap. There's a lot of translucent in there, so it might make interesting beads. I don't know. I might roll those out and see what, or bake one of those out and see what it is. And if I don't like it, then I will squish the rest of it. And then these are random, another project, scraps from something else I was doing. But yeah, so yeah, any scraps I have floating around, I've started just turning into bead logs because that's what makes sense. All right, so our color scheme today. Ooh, that turned into a heavy little box. Is here. So I don't always recommend going darkest. Oh, so yeah, this is. So you see the red and the green. It looks tealier here. That looks more purple there. I would like it if it stayed that way, but getting thinned out so much, it lost some of the. And then throwing that gold in there was a terrible idea because that against the green, it just muddies up that color. So yeah, if I'd left the gold out, I might have liked it better. And then just having it so thin, it just got wonky. So I don't even know if I'll end up doing anything with that either or just scrapping it. But yeah, so today's normally when I'm doing Makumegane, I would do something like that, or something like that, or something like that, where we throw more contrast in. But because that laid out the way it was, and I love the way those turned out. Beads back over. So you just get kind of this soft blending and this almost glowy effect from it. So I liked it. So that's what I did. So I basically separated out my double stack and rebuilt it this way. So because I have a piece of that here, we'll work with that. I'm not going to rebuild it for you guys, but it's a 1, 1, and 1 cut in rectangles stacked in this order. So rose gold black, rose gold alizarin crimson, and a dash of forest green, rose gold 18 karat gold, ecru, and pearl. So I probably could throw a dash of rose gold in there to make it cohesive just a little bit better, but to be honest, I don't have any issue with the cohesion there. It goes with everything. So nice neutral color. So that's the stacking order on these. So this is the piece that I peeled apart from where I had them all still sitting there for all the colors. I think these colors together might work by themselves, but I will throw a layer of that white in there. But yeah, so I peeled them apart. So that's why I've got a little bit of the green in here and a little bit of the white on there, but I managed to get it to peel apart. So I was thinking because now we have a mottled greenish little tonality in this, I want to roll this top down. So you see that, but the way I did those was top up or dark up. So I'm going to recreate that. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten this out a little bit more. So I go down to about a 4 to get my let's see. I need to get everything out of my way so you guys can see what I'm doing. And get centered. There we go. All right. So one thing that's a little bit nice about having all these lines on my thing and why I haven't gotten rid of it, because I know it's a little silly and a little busy, but it's just handy being able to have the lines to cut in between. So we're 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. And that should get me an even cut. Mostly even cut. All right. All right. Normally, I would tighten this all down and then put it back on something and roll it out to a 0. But I'm actually going to just I'm going to stretch this a hair. Let's see. Because normally I want it thick enough that I can cut a pendant out of it. But I know I'm going to be mostly wrapping beads with this, so I don't need it very, very thick. All right, so rolled it down to a 2, and that gets me just enough spread. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this guy over here. Is squared up a little bit. I'll do something with those scraps too, so whatever. Let's let it be scrappy. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Half and half. There we go. Maybe not as wide here as you were there. Pull, pull, so I can get you to cover all the way over. All right, and then back on a 2. Oh, yeah, it's not giving us a ton to work with, but I've already built a ton of this, and I don't have a whole lot of time today. Like I said, I can only stay for about an hour. Yeah, I need to cut out about 10:30. So let's just keep going. Oh, you know what I haven't done yet? Let me go ahead and share this on Facebook real quick. Where is share? There's share. Facebook. All right, cool. All right. So we are now shared, and I will try to watch out for your chats and if any chats come in. Alrighty. So we already did it little, but I kind of am not opposed to. You know what? I want to do. Oh wait, no, that's not it. Where is it? That one's it. These patterns are a little bit busier, but for this small, but I like it, so we're gonna do it. All right. Another thing I've started doing is I started actually getting a spritz of water on my clay. And that seems to work a tiny bit better even than, oops, no, stay down. No, stay down. All right, we'll just reset. I did not burnish my clay down to my surface, so that's what happened there. And then for this one, I not have the Earth Elements one floating around somewhere in bigger size. I haven't played with that one at all. Let me see. Where are you guys? Here we go. I like it. It's a fun one. We're doing it extra large because the details are so little that if I did it not in extra large, they'd disappear. Okay. So I'm not going to get it all on here. So do I want the wind or do I want the fire? Go like this and then like that. I think that's what I'm doing. All right. As always, get the roller wet. I'm trying this getting the clay wet. I forgot to burnish my clay, so I'm going to try to half burnish my clay while I'm half getting it wet. Okay. So I wanted windy one. That hair in there. There it is. probably get sliced out, but come on, little piece of hair. All right. So, because this is so deep. Oh, man. I didn't need to press so hard. It's one of those days, huh? Actually, that's all right. This is a total fail and a half. I am not winning. That's how hard I should have pressed. Not that hard. Alrighty. So, just in case you guys haven't seen me do this, is how we deal with stuck clay. Is you just find a little needle, and usually I like to have a place to rub that out on. And just go pulling up. So I will finish this in a little bit. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick little like visual of how to deal with that. And if you buy my rollers, I usually include a little needle. It's actually smaller than this, which I will need to grab the tiny one because there's some really fine spots in there. So usually start with that just sewing needle I picked up on Amazon or whatever. Then I switch to the nozzle needles, also found on Amazon, or one comes with my roller handles, which sometimes I'm obsessed with and use for everything, and other times I'm just like, I don't need it today. Alrighty. So I actually do want to try to get most of this out of here because I think I'm just going to cut this and go ahead and roll again. Another trick is if you're struggling, you can throw it in the freezer and it will make the clay firmer and not so sticky. So that will help to get stuff out of there. And to be honest, a lot of times, even if you use them with a little bit of clay stuck in there, I've not noticed the situation. Sometimes it'll deposit onto the next thing you roll it on. Sometimes it will just stay in there, but not, it pushes back enough that it doesn't interfere with the patterning. So it's not an issue of color, then it's kind of irrelevant a little. All right, so let's cut that off. I still might slice it to see what we got, but just pop you over there. Oh my, the big dog's mad at something. All right, let's try this one more time. There we go. So now, paper towel, back, paper towel, scrap made into little beads, probably. So yeah, I usually just try to get some of the moisture off, especially if I'm planning on putting some translucent over, which I think I'll go ahead and do. I'm not going to bother on this one, but I will on that one. So let's just slice this guy out real quick and just see what we got, because I totally messed that up. So you'll see momentarily why I often will lay translucent down. I'll show you the difference. Basically, it's going to come up in just messy scrap. So as this comes off in messy scrap, if I had a layer of translucent, it would have kept all the details organized, and then that would be reusable scrap. However, there's something about that little super thin version of messy scrap that actually tends to work really well too. Ooh, that's cool. That one's really fun. I like that. I don't want to overslice it, so I'll just leave it there. And the big girl is begging for attention again. How does she always know when I've got the camera on? So, yeah, I like that. And like I said, that will make perfectly good bead rolling scrap. All right. So that's how that came out. It's cute. I like it. There we go. You can see it a little bit better. So fun. I like that. All right. So let's do this one. I think I like color palette better though when we go this version versus that way. So this was light on top into dark. This is dark into light. So the light might be just a little bit thicker, so it might hold up better. Don't think that's quite enough. Nice layer of this off. And I should have gotten that processed earlier. I apologize, guys. It takes just a minute to get this to wake up. Comes out all crumbly like that. A little bit of hand cold warmth will help. And warm it up. Get in there. There we go. That's good enough. And all the way out to a 9. And then I try to stretch it even thinner, but sometimes it tries to break. You dry, dry. So sometimes I just don't stretch it thinner if it's extra breaky. It's kind of being extra breaky today. So I'm going to try to heal that. Nope. I am not winning this game. Coordination is not 100% today. All right, here we go. I love creating stuff. It's so much fun. I kind of know what this is going to look like. I'm still so excited to see what it's going to look like. All right, we got to get rid of some of this extra translucent floating around. Sheet over there. Flaw in cutting downward is then you end up with scraps of other stuff in your translucent. So that's going in the scrap pile, not in the reuse pile. And I think I got a scrap of that in my reuse pile. All right. You guys go away so you don't get messed with. Okay, so we'll burnish this down lightly. So I'm not trying to flatten out my pattern overly much. So it's a very light burnish, but I do want to encourage that translucent to stick really good to what I do have. So it's more of like a heated up with soft pressure. You can see all the little air gaps still in there. All that light pocketing is all air gaps. So I haven't pushed it down into any of the seams or anything, but it just gives me a nice little light fit. And then it takes a minute usually to get the right amount of slice. You can usually kind of see it in the patterning as you're watching it. I don't know if you can see that, but I can tell that my knife, I can kind of see my knife going down. So I'm getting a good bit off, but not overly much. So if I can see my knife cutting through those little air gaps, oops, so I'm getting deeper there. I'll show you. As I kept going, yep, that's way too deep. So I'm going to push you back down. I'm going to actually spin you around and come the other way. And try to not come back. So I just want this to start sliding. That's not enough. I can kind of see those ear gaps. I just want to see that my knife sort of goes through and sort of stays on a similar trajectory. And I didn't get enough. Actually, I got plenty here. I didn't get enough there. So we'll play around with that again and just try to sometimes on your second slice, you maintain enough detail that your cuttings are useful. But usually that first slice, you're just taking off the top details. And it doesn't always, so like there, these guys are not very cohesive, so I'm going to end up with just lots of pieces and parts. That goes in the heavier scrap pile. Not going to be reusable. So technically, what I'm seeing here is that I should have gone for a thinner layer. So I should have squished my layers out a little bit thinner because I was using such a fine patterning and it didn't go super deep. So my layers could have been a little thinner and I would have gotten better usage of them. Those are still going to be really usable for some pretty beads. Just put a nice bright color behind it. Either use it on white or use it on that bright gold color will probably be what I'll do. And that should pop through there. So the reason we're not getting as much color change as I would like, that's really going to be pretty. That's a neat piece. Is because my layers are a little thicker than they should have been for the information in my roller. So there are ways to improve that. And mostly just go a little thinner. So rather than stopping at a 4, I should have gone down to maybe almost a 6 or at least a 5 to try to thin those layers out just a little bit more. The samples I showed in the beginning was small and that had a lot more information. It was small, it was this one. So the difference in what did we use here was this one. So the depth and the spacing. This can have fatter layers. That needs really thin layers. So maybe I will slice out. I've got another tile. Yeah, I got more tiles. Okay. Oops. That there's really pretty. All right, so let's get this sliced down to where I like it. Chuck the scraps. Looking better, much better. Not too deep. It's mostly that layer of red is too thick. There we go. Learn something new every day. I actually do have a bunch of cool little things I've been tinkering with that I need to bring on camera too. Always learning new stuff, and I like to share it when I do, which is why I try to turn the camera on for just playtime too. But I've got so much going right now. I've got that. Lacey! Oh, Lacey, come here. Good girl. I've got pregnant mama. Well, not pregnant mama. She's got new babies. They're 3 weeks old now. So she's dramatic. Getting time on the camera without her doing that. Hey, baby. He's a good girl. Yeah. Is there something I need? Is there something you need, mama? Are you just having fun yelling at the house? She does that. Very bossy mom. Ooh, that one's good. All right. Do I have enough of this? Little, very lightweight. There we go. A little more detail there. A little more details there. Alrighty. All right. I think those will make pretty beads. Oop. Yep, you're staying down. You is attached. Yeah, that worked out. Those will be pretty. Very pretty. Okay, so let's put all this to one. You are definitely reusable. Scraps are pretty too. I'll show you those in a sec. Hold on. And a ton of the red in it. Like that scrap pile because it's all the oranges and lighter colors. All right, so, and then these guys, all these little scrap shavings, those will actually be really good. Those might work even better. That's the other set. And then those are really good. So I think those will actually work really nicely. I think those will turn out nice. Okay, so that's that project. I'm going to set that plate away. Out of the way anyway. Oh, the big one's got things to say. Lacey, you're fine, honey. Just because the big one's overreacting doesn't mean you have to react too. I know. He's silly. House full of bosses. All right. So we have this is an option. That's just two color. That's boring. And then the other option was this guy. So this will only be good if we do it with a thicker pattern and it needs a layer of off-white or whitish or something. We'll go with this. Actually, that's translucent crew. I want something a little more substantially white. Oh, that's what I rolled. That's another thing I have that's new. You barely see them. They're koi fish. Alrighty. Hold it down to a 3. That seems to be adequate with the rest of them. So because there's so little contrast in those colors, I want a good bit of contrast here. I know that gold into silver is going to be very neutral, and the blue into the gold even is going to be on the neutral side. So we want to throw a nice high contrast of white in there. Roll that to a 4. Not very square. So I'm going to pull you out a little so you're shaped more similarly. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a little change. Let's just call that 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Alrighty. We're not doing fine stuff. We're going to do something nice and thick with this. Out on a 2. Down, burnish you down. Back to that in a second if we choose to. Alrighty. Now, this one again. I still want to see that, but that's too fine a detail. So big. Eeny, meeny, miny, moeing it. You an extra large sitting around? Not over here. My only complaint here is that it doesn't fill up the whole piece. But I guess I could roll another line. Yeah, I can just roll another line. Spray bottle. Oh my gosh, I lose everything. Hope I'm doing a good job staying to the microphone today. I keep putting it like right in my face, so hopefully I can maintain the conversations. That's it. Nice firm press. Okay. And I think I'm doing that one again. It's really awkward trying to roll it just on the side. All right, we did good there. So, and that one's the one labeled mud cloth, by the way. I should have said that in the beginning. Um, yeah, we're gonna want some translucent for that because those look like they're gonna be really pretty. Ah! Just enough there. Give you a good stretch. The thinner this is, the easier it is to slice off. Paper, get your burnish in. Alrighty. And you. There's not a whole lot of reason to make you go away, but go away. All right. Now, again, you can kind of see your little pockets of air in there, and that's super helpful because then it helps me to figure out exactly how far to slice. I need something. Keep that up where you guys can see it. Otherwise, it ends up sliding towards me. So the colors on this one again are that forest green and peacock pearl with a dash of black. Not peacock pearl, sorry. Forest green and rose gold with a dash of black. Mm, And what's really funny is, again, once you get these colors a little thinner, these mixed colors, you end up with this interesting effect of it looks blue there because of what's behind it, and it looks greener here because it's over that gold. So it's got that little bit of yellow bringing it back to a green color, where here it's on, is it going into the white? I guess it's going into the white, which that would teal it up a little. Is blue the last color on it? I think it was, or that bluey green. Ooh, I got a little deep there. That's okay. Hold up. So you see how much better this is holding up to. I left a lot of water in there. It's because it's deep. Um, so how much better this is holding up to the color changes because the pattern's just enough bigger. So I would have to go super duper duper thin if I want to get that other version to work out. That other roller to work well. Nice thing about it being super wet in there is the blade slides really easy. So that is more white than anything. So if I put that over a bolder color under the translucent, that'll still show up really well and be very pretty. That lost most of the details. I didn't get a deep enough cut for the details to stay with the translucent. And again, I think it's a lot because it's wet that it's being extra funny. Sky. Those are slicing out nicely. The bad dog always wants attention when I'm doing stuff. She won't come in here and stay here happily because I don't have any beds in here. I gave her a bed in here. The little dogs would pee on it, I swear. Definitely working better now. I did shave off a lot of that blue though, didn't I? So technically, if I kept going, I'd find another layer of blue again. But it's all the way at the bottom. No, not quite. Still, no, I like it. It's good. Those will be very pretty. Come on. So those will make gorgeous beads. Absolutely gorgeous beads. All right. Ooh, until I did that. At least it's all wet. It's not going to stick. Wah, wah. Oh, Sky. Apparently, I'm going to have to go let her out or something. I don't know what she wants, but she wants something. All right, you stay there. You go there. And then we might try one more. Yeah, I might have 10 minutes. Let me go let the big thing out. And back. Almost. Mama dog went out with her though, so I do have to go back and get her back in a minute. All right, so I've got this as an option that's been sitting around. I have this, which I think is pretty plain. I don't know what the layers are in there, but I don't think they came out very bold. So let's play with this. So this is probably rolled down to a 4 and then double stacked and probably back on a 4 again, then put on a layer of silver because there's so much to work with here and I don't want to make a big project. I'm going to take some of that off and I'm going to do a little bit more that way and then I'm going to put it through roller this way, starting on a 0, not a 9. Down to a 2. All right, so I took the whole chunk down to a 3. So let's see if I can't get these little details to actually lay out for me. So we'll go this way. We are going to pinch you down. Spritz you there. Nose wet there. Spritz the roller, because that's the important thing. And aim for nice and deep. And something stuck. Oh, I went off the edge. That was a terrible idea. There's already something stuck, so it pulled a little bit more clay with it. But it made it easier to get out the stuck pieces from before. Okay. So yeah, I think I just need to stop cheating my wetting the roller by trying to wet the clay because I don't think it's working as well. I need to just make sure my rollers get soaked. I really should just have a bin over here and drop the rollers in a bin of water so that all the little inner bits get wet. All right, we are going to need more translucent because I definitely want to keep both sides of this. And I think we went deep enough to get down to the white with thin enough on this. So it looks like, where are the colors in here? Okay, it's just blue, that neutral, and white. And then the backing is a silvery color. So not as many colors and a lot more contrast. Alrighty. And I'm going to need another chunk off the block. For some reason, I am not using my knife holder to organize my knives. The blade holder. Sell it on Etsy. Probably. And my website. So crumbly. No, don't put it. These are the things in life that teach you you have no control. I always often wonder, you questions in life. Why do we create? What is it that drives that artistic thing? And I think I talked about it the last time. It's like I swear, like ideas have a life of their own sometimes. They just exist out in the ether, waiting for someone to pick them up, praying that someone will pick them up. I don't know, but yeah, kind of the again, the best art comes from when you stop trying to control it and just pick up something, do something with it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it does work, it's amazing. The harder you try to like maintain that control thing, least likely it is to work out. That's kind of everything in life, isn't it? I tend to nose around about some self-help stuff all the time just because I'm always curious. The spirituality thing, the why do we exist? Why do we do the things we do? Oh, that's always just so interesting to me. And yeah. One of the biggest things I've picked up from that is you can either do things from a state of fear or you can do them from a state of love. Almost to the point where you can, let's see. So I kind of, the way I've come to think of it is you have a switch in your brain. It's kind of like fight or flight mode versus the rest of the time. And if you watch the animals, because I spend a lot of time with animals, always have, grew up with horses, breed dogs, groom dogs, spent a lot of time with animals over the years. And thing I have observed is 99.9% of normal animals, not the neurotic ones, they do exist. Most animals have the ability to, let's take a dog fight, for example. Dog's getting a spat over something. Someone wins, someone loses. They call it a draw, whatever it is. It's over a bone. Someone gets the bone. They're done. Shake it off. They walk away. It doesn't matter again. Like they're not looking for when that dog's going to come back and take their bone the next time. Most of them don't care. Like, okay, I didn't get that bone. On to the next bone. Like it's such an amazing ability to just let it be what it is. They're not looking for the fight. They're not worried about the fight. It's like fight or flight in the moment. But if it's not that moment, then it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And I think there's a lot to learn from that. It's like with the way everything is so crazy right now. And it's like you turn on the news, you turn on the TV, you watch anything mainstream, and I swear the goal, God, that's pretty. The goal is just drive you into fight or flight mode. So I said, and I kind of call that, wow, that is really pretty. Yeah. So you can either live from fear or you can live in love. And it's like almost vibrational. It's like you almost just feel it in your soul. And when you're in fight or flight mode, you can never act lovingly. You're always worried about when the next meal's coming. Do we have enough money for the bills this week? All those sorts of things, it's like living in lack, and I don't care what version of religious or lack thereof you are, they all kind of teach the same message. It's like God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is benevolent, looking out for you, and it's probably going to work out in the end. Everything that you face that's new or scary or wow, that's turning out absolutely perfect, um, usually leads to the next better thing. It's like you get out of one relationship, you think it's the end of the universe and you're end of your world, and then you end up in the next one and it's 100 times better. Or maybe it's worse and you still need to learn that lesson, but you eventually figure it out and end up in a great relationship. But yeah, and I don't think you can learn anything unless you get put up against something. And we don't just come out knowing how to be happy, relaxed, well rounded, and individual. You have to kind of learn how to do that. And if you don't have so called bad things happen, you don't really try. It's like if things are good enough, then humanity seems to be totally happy to just live in good enough. Where if you want amazing, you usually kind of have to go through a little hell to find that the contrast. Yeah, contrast. There it is. The reason this is working is contrast. Where'd the other one go? That's exactly my point. Lack of contrast. Some there, but because that dark-ish neutral tone into the darkish red, the only part that's got enough contrast is the red into the gold and the white behind. But because I'm stepping into those contrasts and my details are so fine and little and subtle, you don't see them. This, on the other hand, my contrast is better. So even though, yes, there is a blue into a neutral, the neutral doesn't resemble the blue as much. So there's enough contrast in tone and color there that it gets you a distance. And then it's so quickly into the white, which is an absolute contrast to the color that's next to the white. So it was blue on top, then the neutral, darker neutral, and then a brighter. So it's basically here. You can see it here. Mid, darker, very bright. And that's what gets us this nice, just variance of color and the fact that you can see all those little details and everything's changing up and contrast. So if you don't experience the dark side of stuff, you just have no ability to appreciate the light. And I kind of think that's sort of where we're at right now and how I personally deal with all the drama in the universe, all the drama in our world right now is, knowing that we got to go through a little bit of crap to get to the other side of it and, see where that takes us. And I think the biggest thing we can do to help is just function from a place of love. Don't get hung up in that fight or flight mode, which it's everywhere and everyone's living in it. And it's like, again, you watch the wild animals. It's, the horses. God, the horses are because they're prey animals, man. They're looking for, it's like if there's something to alert about, they're gonna alert about it. And if one starts looking around like something's going on, five others are gonna, they're all it's gonna catch. where if they look over and someone's saw the thing, doesn't react to the thing, drops its head and starts grazing again, they're like, oh, thing's done. We're good. So it's not like don't look at it, don't acknowledge it, because we need to know what's going on. We need to understand what the heck is out there, but we don't need to let it dramatize. We don't need to turn it into a story or a big dramatic thing. You know, it's like again, that's why creativity to me is so important. Is it gives you the opportunity to just be in the moment, doing the thing, playing with the idea, letting ideas flow, and living in love. You know, it's like I'm not afraid of if it's going to work or not. I mean, yeah, I might run out of clay. I'll go buy more. I will find more. I will do smaller projects, whatever. It's never going to stop. There will be something I can do something with. It's just the way the world works. And the more love and trust you pour into the things you do, the better the results. The more with you the results are. Where if you pour fear and anxiety and is this going to work? I'm on camera. Oh my God, it's got to be just right. You get that vibe going and yeah, you mess up. You make the wrong decision because you're worried about making the wrong decision. So what happens when you focus on the wrong decision and it being the wrong decision? You're gonna just it's what's gonna pop up in your head. Where you just pick up something, see what happens. Usually works out 100% better. This is gorgeous. Those will make absolutely stunning beads. I'm really, really, really excited to try those out. Scraps aren't as good, but the beadwork's gonna be gorgeous. All right, so my mama dog is calling to me. I'm pretty sure it's puppy's lunchtime. So, and I've got my niece to prepare to hang out with. So, I will be heading out and I will chat with you guys on the next one. Yeah, I think my new sign in sign off is be in love, you know? Find that state of love within your soul and work from there because that just it changes the world around you. And I think if more of us do that, I think the world will start to shift. You know, acknowledge the dark parts. Don't pretend they don't exist. Look at them. And then be the light that shines on those dark zones. And they will be forced out into the light and not be able to hide in the shadows anymore. And I think that's where we're at. I think that's what we need to do as a culture, as a people, if we want to take our world back. I think that's where it comes from, is just living in light as much as you can. Find heaven in your soul. Have a good one, guys.